Welcome back, guys. So today we're going to dive into the topic of how do we navigate to be successful when we hear all this caution and warning and doom and gloom around us. And I want to present this with an analogy from a parent to a child, in that when you think about parents, oftentimes you're going to hear this everywhere now. They are going to shout, "Be careful, slow down, don't burn yourself." All of these phrases are warnings. There are fearful statements from that parent. None of them help the child. None of them will help the child be safe, be successful, not burn themselves. So we're going to dive into how you communicate and how you absorb advice such that you can be successful with this kind of feedback, and maybe as a parent help your child to be safe and successful. So welcome. Today in the Best Self, I'm going to jump into a topic that I began working on about 13, 14 years ago, and now I apply it to many business ventures and people that I work with, and it really does help. And I want to share this to you so you can benefit from it. So when we think about being successful, we understand that there are a series of things that we have to accomplish, right? If I want to get to this goal, I want to build this business, I want to have this show, I want to, whatever it is, we understand that there's things that we need to do to accomplish it. And in some cases, there are, I would say, truths in that we know it is possible because somebody like ourselves has done it in the world at some point in time. And there's other situations where it's brand new. It's never, ever, ever been done before. But maybe there's parts of it that have been done. And that's also fascinating and exciting. But in both of these scenarios, we have to journey forward. And in order to be successful, we always want to pull in advice. Because if we can take lessons from somebody else and execute based on that lesson, we can get to the next stone, to the next milestone, the next ladder rung of our project in launching our product or raising our child, maybe without some of the regret and pain and suffering that can come in from learning mistakes that others have already taken on. So we're going to break this down into a couple different areas. First off, we got to rethink about warnings. We got to rethink what this really means. And, I'm going to get into the kind of the kernel of truth on this, because when you hear warnings such as be careful, they, for the person that is being told this, it really just induces anxiety and fear into them, right? So if I'm yelling be careful to you and you're doing something and you feel absolutely confident, you see how you're going to do it, you're enjoying yourself, it's fun, but then I yell be careful. Well, now you're like, be careful of what? What am I doing wrong? And now you're going to change how you're behaving, change your motions, become less fluid, and more likely to make an error, more likely to fall, more likely to have a problem. And when I think about when we shout this out, like you're riding your bicycle for the first time and somebody yells, be careful, don't fall. Thanks. I've realized and I recognize that these are really reflections of fear from the person saying them, right? So if you've got a family member that's saying, be careful, I don't know if you should start that business, that's pretty risky. That's their fear of it being risky and failing, and maybe something that they experienced or they saw somebody fail and saw the damage that caused from it. That doesn't mean you're going to fail, but it is a risk statement centered on their own fears, their own experiences. And that doesn't invalidate it, but we have to recognize that what is presented is a fear-based statement. And if you are receiving this, it's not guidance on how to be successful or how to be safe, right? So what is that? What is the advice or the guidance or the stuff that we're trying to pull from in these individuals? Well, first off, we're looking for specifics. We don't want vague advice. We want specific. So if you're climbing up a mountain or a ladder, you would want somebody to say hand, hand, foot, foot. And what you're really doing is you're repeating something that ensures that if they do their hand, and their foot, and find anchor points for them, they will not fall, right? Because they are hanging on. That is far superior than me saying, don't fall. So you want actionable advice that is specific so that we can benefit from it. Same thing on business, right? If somebody says, "Oh, be careful you don't go bankrupt," or all these fear-based statements, what you really want to hear is what specifically causes that bankruptcy. What specifically causes your product to not meet market requirements? You want to know specifics, and that's interesting because when you get to specifics, now you have to get out of fear and into practicality. And that's the transition. That's where we really see things growing and changing for you and I. It is not the basic, how can I be scared of this? Or what are the risks? I want to know specifically what is causing that risk. So, because if you've seen it from afar, you haven't seen what's caused it. And that's just fear. And that's emotion. That doesn't help you or I be successful or safe if we're trying to do something exciting and different. What we want to see is and receive is help on the journey as we're trying to build skills and to grow our business. So let's think about that for a minute. There are new paths. There are new things that you and I are going to be endeavoring on that have never been done before. And these new endeavors, much like paths that have already been walked, there are pieces of advice that you and I want to receive. You and I want to build on and learn things. And so we gain that by engaging with people, by experimenting, by understanding risks, and then planning for them. So let's think about that. For number one, we do want advice. We do want practical risks that we need to be considerate of. When I was building my gym, people would have this naysayer point of view. They were all scared. But I kept drilling and drilling and drilling. And eventually, a few people had specifics. And I used those to plan my business, to prep for that, to consider that ahead of time. And by doing that, I was able to handle those moments as they appeared. So you're trying to do something new. You're trying to be successful, trying to build something. Maybe just trying to raise a child. There are a few types of influencers that we need to be aware of. And each one exists in our lives. Number one influencer we have is the doubter. People that just doubt everything. Nothing is possible. It's all terrible. Everything is 100% risk. These are generally fear-based individuals. And from the percentage of value that they provide, it's basically zero. They just doubt you. They're just all negative, closed-minded. These people we want to eliminate from our life. That's it. You want to go do something great, you need to get rid of the doubters. And that's hard, right? Because they might be family. They might be friends. Number two, influencers are those that are risk aware. That's helpful, right? As I said, understanding what risks exist so that we can then plan, that is helpful. Again, more negative, more it's not easy, it's hard, it's impossible kind of mental thinking models. Again, we want to really limit these people. We want to hear the risks and then we want to move on. I don't want to be hammering on risks. I want to get the point, plan, and move forward because I have to build things. You and I have to build things. We're not just focused on risk management. We're focused on building. So what's next? What's the number three influencer? Those that are how-to thinkers. These are excellent. We love how-to thinkers. Every time you come up to a challenge, they go, how can we do this? What's a version of this that we can do together? How do we overcome that challenge? Who do we partner with to do this? How do we make this possible? Those are fantastic people in your life. Definitely want to cherish them, and their advice is great. So we have doubters who are at the bottom, risk-aware people, how-to thinkers, a little bit better, right? Now the next one, doers. These are the people that don't just come to you and say, I think you can do it this way, or we can do it this way. The doers are the ones that are already pushing things in their life, whether they're stay at home parents, they're running big businesses, they're running lots of different projects, they're creating art and content, but they're doing things. They're doers. And they come to us with things done. These are the people we cherish. People that come to us with answers, with the solution done, with, hey, I've used this, click here, do this, you'll be set. Why do we care about these people? Because they're not just talk, they are executing on their visions. We want those people in our lives. We love those people helping us, and we want to continue to give back, right? Because that energy will be magnified when you put 2, 3 of those people together. So that's fantastic. But that's not the biggest influencer on your success. The biggest influencer on you achieving and navigating your goals. Well, the biggest influencer is you. You need to execute. You're the one with the vision. You need to protect yourself from those that are doubting and risk focused and closed minded. You need to drive forward on your purpose in order to achieve your success. Right? You are absolutely in the equation. You are the differentiator for achieving your success more than anybody else. You are the answer. Will we achieve it? Now, it does take a village, a town, a country to achieve certain magnificent, monumental goals. But it doesn't happen without you. I promise you that. So, focus on yourself. Give yourself the time. Push yourself. I see and I want you to recognize how you can achieve your goals, how you can achieve what you're after. Your success is dependent on what you do. And it doesn't get any more complicated than that. Like, we try to complicate this. It is not complicated. You have to think about your craft, your passions, your focus, and then see your growth, see your evolution on here. And it's not about those influencers, whether they support you or appreciate you or not. That's their choice. You know what you are doing. And as long as we're getting better each day and the next day and the next day and the next day, as Kobe Bryant liked to say, as long as when you go to bed, you realize that you are even just 1% better than you were yesterday, well, then you are absolutely succeeding. You are success. So we need to redefine success in our minds. It is not the milestone or the fancy items or this life that you have created a vision for, which is amazing. Totally do that. Your success needs to be defined on your progression and effort and intensity every day to be just a little bit better, just a little bit more. And by that consistency, that accumulation, then and only then will you be successful. And that way we win every day. You're successful every day. And if you do that, now you can sleep well at night. Now you can find the benefit of what you're chasing. Now you are living your best self. All right. This is a super important message. I really need you to share this and comment below on how you are handling these influencers in your life, how you are building what you're building. And if there's anything that you need, by all means, let me know. And I hope you have an amazing day.